I'm Tom Allchurch, a business coach with the No Limits business community. So today I'm addressing the question, how can I improve time management amongst my team members? Okay, firstly, let's get something straight. Time management is about self-management. Time itself is unmanageable. It's a finite resource. We can't make more of it. Do you want to make more money? Sure, no problem. Always make more money. It's infinite. Do you want to make more time? Well, yeah, there's only 168 hours this week and some sleep would be good. So the question really is, how can I and my team self-manage ourselves to maximize our use of the limited time that we have? So let's think about how the team improves their self-management and how as business owners, leaders and managers, we improve our management of them. What are we looking for? Clear knowledge of what needs to be achieved and clear priorities. Better structure of the working week to fit everything in. Better planning of the working day to ensure everything gets done. Reduce distractions to maximize efficiency. And then self-management and review to seek constant improvement. What results might that give us? Better performance, better decision-making, better individual and team results, higher individual and team achievements, so a happier team. So here are some suggestions on how to achieve that. Firstly, priorities. Team members with clear roles and responsibilities and key performance indicators, KPIs, are clear on what they have to achieve. There's no longer any room for internal procrastination of uncertainties. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was my go. Good position contracts give the team members ownership of their job. They significantly improve the likelihood of their outcomes for the business being achieved and give the manager or business owner an improved result. So next, organization and planning. Plan your work your plan. If your team is going to self-manage really well and they're clear about their objectives, then they need to allocate an appropriate amount of time to complete the necessary tasks as part of their working routine. This is best achieved by use of a default diary. The default diary sets out what tasks should be done and when every week. It allows for the planning of necessary meetings and collaboration time in the schedule, fitting in blocks of time for tasks that are deadline driven, and blocks of time for achieving the other tasks or responsibilities that are theirs. Preparing the default diary for yourself and with your team members for them starts you thinking about what proportion of time each team member should be devoted to the different elements of their job. The planning of tasks into blocks allows for more efficient working. It is never efficient for work to be picked up and put down. Too much time's lost in the refamiliarization of where you are in the process. Where did you get up to? What were you thinking came next? So the discipline of planning what you need to work on when, and then working on it then, when you plan to, is a great self-management discipline. Next, daily planning. Having set up the weekly default diary, the act of daily planning is a huge win in self-management. The last task of any day should be to plan tomorrow, a 10-minute job. Why? Well, firstly, you know what's left over from today that needs to be done. Follow-up calls or emails, must-dos or tasks to delegate. They get listed. Secondly, the time gets allocated between these, the tasks that will be new to tomorrow that need completing, and all with an eye on the quarter goals and what you're normally doing that day of the week from the default diary. You then have a strong plan for the following day. Thirdly, when you start your day, you have a plan and hit the ground running. Additionally, there's an enormous personal benefit of this daily planning routine. How many times when you haven't planned tomorrow do you find yourself sitting at home in the evening thinking, I must remember to do this, do that tomorrow, and then you promptly forget, and then you don't remember tomorrow either. Great daily planning allows you to stop thinking about what you need to remember when you're sat at home because it's in the plan. So you can switch off, enjoy your downtime more. Brilliant bonus. Next, reduce the interference and remove the distractions. Now, in the modern world, we're a slave to modern communications, aren't we? The computer has email, other social media apps on it, pop-ups in the corner of your screen, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, email, SMS, countless others. The smartphone flashes or vibrates when it's on silent, and worse still, the smartwatch alerts to you if you can't see the phone. With all these interruptions going, brr, ping, what do? We look at them. And yet, how often are they important? Not often. How do we get anything done with all these interruptions? Are they controlling us, or are we controlling them? If you were in a meeting with an important customer trying to close a sale, do you answer your phone or your email while you're talking to them? Most likely not, because you're not allowed to get the sale. It's rude. You focus on them. When you're sitting at your desk trying to work through a dull but important piece of work and something pings and pops up on the screen, do you look at it? Probably yes. How often is it important? More important than what you should be doing or what you need to be doing? Not often, but you've allowed yourself to become distracted. Modern communications have made us feel like we have to be instant in our responses. But do we? If we have all of these things interrupting our flow of thought and work, how inefficient have we really become? Are these interruptions important enough to warrant the disturbance to what we should be focusing on? Most communications are not urgent in the sense that they need to be dealt with there and then. A few possibly are, and an allowance can be made for this. If you and your team devise a set of rules for periods of uninterrupted working, how much more work would get done? Now, I'd like to share a story about one of my clients with you. It's a true story about one of my clients who made some changes to the way he was working in 2021. Now, let's call him Dave. Dave has a consultancy business in which he has to pull together large and complex reports. This work was taking up to around 25 hours per week, and he really wasn't enjoying it. Dave was already using default diary and daily planning, and in investigating what the interruptions were during his day, we found his problem was the constant noise and distraction of messages that were neither sufficiently urgent nor important enough to warrant the distraction. So Dave changed his routine. Arriving at his desk at 8 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee and his plan for the day from the day before, he would spend 15 minutes on overnight electronic traffic, dealing with what needed to be dealt with. At 8:15, he switched everything off: phone, email, messaging apps, and then he focused on his report work. At 10:15, he switched everything back on again, went off to make a cup of coffee, checked what had come in, dealt with anything urgent, then switched it all off again. And at 10:30, he'd go back to his report work. 12:30, switched everything back on again, checked nothing needed dealing with before lunch, got on with the rest of his day. The 25 hours per week of report work was now being achieved in 15 hours, and he was then able to devote 10 additional hours per week to growing his business. Went on to employ someone to do this work that he no longer enjoyed as the business grew. Finally, how do you implement improved self-management? Well, with your team, you might get some pushback in setting up a default diary, in setting up daily planning, and in removing the interference and distractions from them. They might see it as a little bit controlling or unnecessary at first. So before you try and set it up with your team, set it up for yourself. Along with the daily planning, see how it works. Once you know the benefits, it's easier to work out how to pitch this to your team to generate the buy-in. They will already have noticed the difference. They'll already have noticed the improvement in your performance. So give it a go. If you need any help, reach out to a business coach. I'm Tom Allchurch with No Limits Business Community.